My name is Rich Crandall. The last name is Crandall. And I became acquainted with the Brent Foundation a year and a half ago. I was wondering what to do with my life after my wife passed away. And lo and behold, I was in a meeting talking about what are we going to do with our life. And lo and behold, Jenny Taylor's name came up on my Facebook as a friend. I didn't know her at all, but I called her up and she said, well, we ought to go to lunch. I live near Weaver High School. And so we met, and I've been involved with the Follow the Flag Foundation ever since, and worked with veterans, widows, Jenny and two others that we're close. We FaceTime once in a while, Facebook. And, so that's kind of how it all started, all right? And I'm thankful for this opportunity. I come from a military family. My oldest brother served in World War II, and he was in the Navy. And then my next brother served in Korea. He got drafted and spent 2 years there. I went to school and was commissioned a second lieutenant during the Vietnam War, and went to flight school in October of 1965. And been flying all my life, so I'm pretty excited and a little bit disappointed that it was airplanes that hit the, Trade Center. It just appalls me. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But in the Air Force, I retired after 30 years commissioned, and then I got the opportunity to teach at Utah Valley University, history, and also fly students there. And I was on the morning of September 11th. I was home. And I was watching TV, and all of a sudden in the morning I just saw, holy cow, what a shock. And I called my chief pilot. He was up in Park City, I think, with his wife. And I said, hey, turn on your TV. And lo and behold, this is what we saw. And it was a total shock. Teaching people to fly airplanes was amazing to me, but then all of a sudden, it really slowed down because 9/11 people were worried and things. And so we got this fantastic security system. We all don't like the going through, x-rays and things like that, but we haven't had another 9/11 in this country. And I know that this, God bless America, this is the most choice land in the whole world. And I know that. I retired from the 419th. I flew at Hill for a while, and then I went to the Pentagon, and they got F-16s, and they were the first ones to fly out towards Washington and fly there to make sure there was no other incidents that took place. Okay, that was a bad year for the nation, and a bad year for the Crandall family. We had a Brent. January 2001, passed away in a car accident, and later on, the Twin Towers on the same year, September 11th. I say it shouldn't have happened because, believe it or not, the people that did this tremendous negative thing went to flight school here in the United States. They went to Florida and did flight training, and they said, all we want to do is learn how to land. That ought to be a key. That ought to be a key. All we wanted to do was land. Oh my gosh. Well, I was pretty upset, as many others. It killed the aviation industry. And I've already talked about the surveillance and what it was worth. I want to talk a little bit about the third aircraft which hit the Pentagon, American Flight 77. I was stationed in the Pentagon for 4 years, and I've got if I can, I'll show a picture of the Pentagon. I spent 4 years there. Okay, can you see it all right there? And what's interesting about it is that my office was on the 5th floor, 5D466. There's 5 rings in the Pentagon, and there's a helicopter pad there. I don't know if you can see it. It's a white pad. Anyway, my office was straight above it, but it was 5 floors. And the airplane that hit the Pentagon hit the pad there, but it was so low it only knocked out in the first floors, okay? went right through there, and it was in the Navy section. They had a great place where we could get ice cream every afternoon, and it wiped it out. And unfortunately, it wiped out 125 people in its process. And being full of gas, it just ripped through the whole area there. And take 125 plus 83 on the airplane, took out nearly 200 lives. And unfortunately, they had a full load of fuel because they had flown in from Dulles Airport, which was just on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. They had a full load of fuel, and aviation fuel is a lot more volatile than car gasoline. And anyway, but it ripped through, and an interesting thing is, I'll put this down now, but the roof was made out of cement, so they couldn't put the fire out because it was all cement. But another miracle that happened was that they had columns with rebar in them that they had just installed a few years earlier. They thought the Pentagon was just going to be somewhere where we stored records from World War II and things, but they didn't know that in 1942 this building would be finished in a big hurry before we ended up in Europe in the war. This was right after Pearl Harbor. And the whole nation was patriotic. My brother lied about his age to get in because he was extra large. Let's see, I think it's just about done. The fire raged for 5 days before they could get it out. The plane had 5,000 gallons of fuel, and it also was flying at 530 miles per hour. So when it hit the Pentagon, it just splintered, and they couldn't get it out for a while. Well, my message is that to appreciate our freedom, this is the greatest country in the world, and never forget 911. We learned a hard lesson from it. And the many families who were affected. Like I said, I'm assisting widows in any way that I can, and there was just 3 last year. You know, one of them was Cage Allen, who lives in, he lived in Brigham City, and he got killed. And then another one, Mackenzie Fushigami, and then Jenny Taylor's husband. She is just so incredible. She has just taken a ball and carried it forth with patriotic things forever, and I would thank her forever. She's just one of my heroes, so that's the way I'll end, unless you have any questions. Thank you.